Hello, my name is Kamil and I'm Creative Director in Drago Entertainment.
Hello, I'm Ian and I'm a Technical Director at Drago.
Balancing game is always a fun and interesting and long process and progress as well.
It never ends.
It never ends, effectively. How we approach it? Well, of course, by playing. Playing a lot. Before playing, of course, we've got Excels and everything that give us the numbers, but in the end, you just have to play, you just have to understand your game.
I mean, we also have like a lot of options for different difficulty levels, right? So balance is, let's say we have one main difficulty level for us internally, which is the survival difficulty. And that difficulty is where we want the core to be. Like, this is the baseline that we are basing the game on. Then we make it usually easier for various difficulty levels. We also have custom difficulty that allows players to really micromanage their experience in any way they want. We really, as is usual with custom difficulties, there are really a lot of options, and it's sort of difficult to know what they are until you've actually played the game, because it will be just a huge list. It's very overwhelming. It's best to just play a game on one of the preset difficulties where we have tuned it, and then find out, yeah, hey, you know what? I really like this, but it bothers me that it is dropping this quickly. I just want to fine tune it, which we also allow. Because, for example, when you go into the custom difficulty settings, you can just say, hey, I want the experience that I had on survivalist, but one thing bothers me, and you can just tweak that one. And you can immediately switch to another one, or even create presets of your own difficulties and switch between them dynamically, right? So we really want to provide options for everyone to be able to play this game. However, the experience will obviously differ based on the difficulties.
The biggest challenge is that the game is actually very big. It's big. Not only the map is big and so on, but there is a lot of features that overlaps together, come together, and they work in a synergy. Which means when one thing breaks, a lot of things in the chain isn't working. And I think that Ian can.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just that, that systems are connected to each other, and then obviously when you balance or change something in one thing, that it might really needs a whole array of changes every time, but also just testing it, right? Because ultimately there's 60 levels, or currently live there's 50 levels, later on 60 or even more. We will see how exactly we'll balance it, but every single level has some recipes. Every single recipe has to be crafted, tested, checked, built, whether then the thing that you've built actually works properly, and whether it actually fits into the big picture nicely, right? Because we have had a lot of times when we were moving different recipes to different levels because, hey, you know what, maybe you need something combat related faster, maybe you need beds or campfires faster in order to be able to save the game, right? And there's just a lot of things that the player kind of needs really quickly in order to get the experience that they need, which means you're kind of front loading a lot of stuff. And then, every single next level still needs to feel impactful, that, hey, I got a new level, now I'm gonna craft everything from this level to see what it is. And finding a balance between the numbers on, hey, how much experience do you need for every level, to what you're gonna get, to whether this is gonna fill up the time before you get the next level, or are you gonna get several levels and then catch up again? Like, finding a balance between these things is very difficult, especially also from testing perspective, because our first line of feedback are always the testers, or obviously us ourselves when we're developing, but we get biased over time against our own things that we wish for, right?
Yeah, and I would say the challenge that also comes from us, for us, and in the end for the player, is how the game works in this kind of synergy that, as you said, the pacing, the flow of the just natural progression, that's the one thing, but as we progress, the game evolves as well, and it's basically, the game is progressing in the three factors, three ways. One is, as Ian mentioned, is the adaptation level, the very clear one, the bigger the experience, the wider choices of recipes you got, the perks, and effectively see how good the character becomes in the world as a survivalist. Another thing is it's a sanity system that we have to take into consideration, because the longer you play, the more mistakes you will make, because that's how it is. Which means the difficulty curve will go up. So it's a challenge for us to properly introduce it and balance it, and for you to overcome those challenges. But the third thing is the world itself. We've got these wilderness events that within adaptation, within exploration, within the game you play, the world will react towards your actions.